Actually, I got a good cold open.
Do you now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why don't you just
Want me to go
jump into it?
All right.
Well, just go for it.
Today's episode is unofficially brought to you by Three Notched Brewing Company. In today's episode, what we are going to do is slowly and painfully read through their entire menu.
Why? Why would we do this, Justin?
It was the last thing that was pulled up on my phone as I was going to look up the definition of ASMR.
This is why we need Noelle here.
And, I mean...
this is really why.
This 2-page... So I went there yesterday, and they don't have, like, paper, actual, like, physical menus. They encourage you to scan their QR code and pull it up on your phone. So this 2-page... document here can definitely get you, especially with all like the notes at the bottom, it can definitely get you an hour's worth of content if you were to read through every single appetizer, burger, entree, soup, salad, and all the descriptions.
Okay, well, have we finally gotten that desperate?
Well, I guess now let's I'm just
okay.
But being sponsored by Three Notch would be pretty cool.
that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, they do have cider there, so you're in good shape. Yeah,
send me some cider for free.
Yeah,
you don't have to pay us. Just give us free alcohol. We will broadcast.
I don't think they actually brew it there themselves, but hey, you can drink it.
We just start recording at Three Notched and just be like, hey. We're your podcast now. That'd be pretty awesome.
So, ASMR, you want me to read that quick? The definition?
Sure. Yeah. Might as well tell me what ASMR is.
Okay. Autonomous sensory meridian response.
Be honest, that was not what I thought it was going to be.
It is a tingling sensation that usually begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine.
Okay.
So,
this is interesting. I still really like the genre, but
yeah, pretty creepy.
It is creepy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Interesting. Hey man, we're what, 8 days away from the big day?
Yeah, for my wedding. Like, spoiler alert to all our listeners who are not caught up on my life. I'm getting married in a week. Sorry to ruin that episode for you. For those of you who have been watching my life episodically. But, yeah, I'm getting married next Saturday. So I went down to, like, the courthouse yesterday to pick up the marriage certificate.
Uh-huh.
Hey, let me just say this. The Chesterfield website, where you fill this out, is not intuitive whatsoever. So you have to fill out the thing, and then you have, like, 10 days to go pick it up from the courthouse.
Uh-huh.
Okay, what they don't tell you on there is you have to make an appointment.
I see.
I don't know how my fiance found out she needed to make an appointment, but she texts me, kind of panicked, like, hey, we got to get an appointment. I'm going to try to squeeze this in. And I miss all 5 of these panic texts because I'm busy doing work.
Uh-huh.
Not a big deal. I see it. I'm like, okay, well, do your best, I guess.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So we get a slot for 3 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
I leave around 2. I drive down there. I'm like, okay. Give myself a little wiggle room, as you do.
Yeah.
For whatever 2 p.m. traffic there will be. I don't know why there would be traffic at 2 p.m.
You never know.
But you never know, and this one's kind of important. I'm not leaving it to chance.
Good call.
Okay, so I make it there. We get there. I see a sign as we're going in that says, I can't have my smartwatch or my cell phone on me in the building. I'm like, okay. I don't know why, but I guess they don't want you reporting to court.
Probably. Yeah.
I guess that's the idea. So I walk back to the car. Put everything back, put her phone away. Get inside, realize she has a smartwatch on. Turns out there were lockers inside the building. You shove things in. I'm like, okay, well, I feel like that should have been next to the sign that was way far away from the door that said we have lockers for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You just punch in your own code, you'll be fine. That would be nice, but whatever. Okay.
Little courtesy. But hey, that's the government for you.
Yeah. So, I'm happy the lockers are there. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk in, and there's that security checkpoint. The woman at the security checkpoint is yelling at us how to work the locker. Because we can't figure it out. It's a simple 2-step problem, and we were on step 1 going like, what? Why are there numbers? There should be letters.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, They get in there, put her watch on the thing, we're good. Walk up to the thing, they're doing the typical scary, empty your pockets, blah, blah, blah. As we're doing that, the guy who's there is like humming, what's the name of the song? The song is The Mighty Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Okay.
The one's like,
Elton John.
We are mumbo.
Yeah.
Alright, so he's like whistling that. So I get through security, and apparently the thing I was not supposed to do was go, the lion sleeps tonight. Because it's instinctive. It's a catchy song. I like to meditate. So I get shot a little bit of a look from the guard. I'm like, well, you're the one singing it. I'm just joining. So they tell us it's on the ground floor. Look to the left, go in there. So we go into the office. Wrong office. Because apparently, unbeknownst to us, what was the ground floor, floor number 1, is not the ground floor. What is the ground floor is underground.
Oh my gosh. You mean the basement? The
basement. And I'm like, this is not a ground floor, this is an underground floor. This is a very big difference.
Yeah.
It's slight.
But it's
2 letters off, but it's enough for me not to know.
Ground is ground, right?
Yeah. Like, I've accomplished the assignment. I'm at ground level to start with when I walk in. Floor 1, ground level. I'm not any lower than ground level.
Below ground.
What they meant was below ground level. Go down there. I'm like, okay, I'll go there. So I get there. I find it. It's in, like, this basement records room. Where you just keep all his records. Show up. Some old lady's like, can I help you? I'm like, here for marriage license. Some woman down is like, down here. Now, the reason I thought we needed an appointment, or they told us to get an appointment, was I figured, it's going to be busy. There are going to be a lot of people getting married. Apparently, there's a smorgasbord of marriages happening right now. Pandemic's over. Everybody has to get freaking married right now. We all do it. We're going to be in a big line of happy couples ready to get married. Maybe possibly some unhappy couples trying to get divorced. I don't know if they do it in the same area, but maybe.
They probably do that like
honestly, I would like to be in that line, just listen. Yeah, the divorce one's on the first floor at the true ground floor.
That's right.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So I get there and there's no one there. I'm like, okay, this feels like a waste of an appointment. I'm not sure why we had to do that. Show up, we get there, we give them our information. Like, okay, we'll find you. I'm like, cool. Go through, we're adding up the stuff, and unbeknownst to us, for whatever reason, our mother's names on the certificate couldn't be their married names now. They had to be their maiden names for some reason.
Okay.
I don't understand why.
I think I remember this. Yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like, but why? Why does that matter? They haven't gone by that name in probably, in my mom's case, like probably 40 plus years.
Oh, yeah.
So we fill that out. My fiance forgot what maiden name meant for a while. She's like, but I gave you the middle name. I'm sitting there like, no, babe, maiden name. She's like, but I gave her the middle name. I'm like, maiden name? She hears me. She's like, yeah, I gave the maiden name. Her middle name is... I'm like, that's not a maiden name. Maiden name is your name before you get married.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway, and then they get to like the area where they're like my parents, and like I had put just my parents' like middle initials. I figured, what does it matter? It's A. Johnson for both my parents. Apparently that's not good enough. Apparently I had to need the full name. So I give them my dad's. I know that. That's easy to spell. I get to my Bob's. I'm like, her name is pronounced Ellen, but it's pronounced with an A. And the woman's like, what? And I'm like, it's spelled like Allen, but it's pronounced Ellen. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, it hit me like as I filled it out. I'm like, I'm not sure if I spelled that right. Spoiler, I did, but I was like, I'm not sure. I probably should have texted my mom and found out. But the courthouse won't let me have my phone in the building. So I can't find out to make sure. And I just have to make an oath before I get this thing to make sure I'm not perjuring myself.
That's right.
And they do tell me they will prosecute me if I'm wrong.
Are you serious?
I'm sure I could go back later and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I spelled it wrong. They'd probably be like, it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to haul me off to the sheriff's office down the hall and be like, we got Marshall.
That's right. Yeah, they're not doing it to jam you up or anything.
No, I doubt it. Now, if I did get arrested and sent to the jailer's office because I filled out the marriage certificate, I would not tell anybody that's why I'm there. They'd be like, buddy, what are you in for? I'll be like, I stabbed the guy.
Just make sure they're scared of you in the tank.
I'm not going to be the one guy in the tank who's like, yeah, I filled out a marriage certificate wrong.
Why are you here?
Apparently that's a big deal. Nah, I don't know, man. Things happen. I'm a tough guy. I don't know. So we're filling this out. We're going through. We go through. We get to the point where we swear in, and she says like this oath to us. We swear in, and we both kind of look at each other. We're like, are we supposed to say yes, or are we supposed to repeat? I was like, yep. And she's like, okay, good enough. I'm like, I didn't know yep counted as a legal proceeding.
It's what is it like? Yays and nays.
Yeah.
You can use any sort of affirmative answer.
Yeah. And then she asks us, hey, do you need a certified copy of this? I'm like, do I? I thought we were good. I thought we had the one. She's like, it costs extra. I'm like, okay.
So it costs
ma'am, you know more than we do.
so it costs you money to actually get the copy that you need, probably, right?
Yeah.
To be signed, to hand back to them?
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, I thought that's what we were doing. Okay, well, apparently they're going to send us certified copies in the mail after we get the original filled out.
I see.
And she's like looking at me a little bit like, why don't you know this? And I'm like sitting there like, man, this is my first marriage. I have no idea. Don't worry about the second one. If I'm here again, I'll have this figured out. I don't know right now.
Well played.
You know more than I do.
That's right. That's right.
It's like what's going through my brain. So they're like, yeah, okay, so why do we need that? She's like, well, you need it if you need to change your last name for social and like
passports and
everything like that to change your name. I was like, okay. And then in my head, I'm like, well, I'm not planning on taking her last name, am I? I guess I could be modern. But I was like, oh, I guess I'll need it. And I realized, oh, no, wait. My wife is going to need that.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, we should get that. Now, here's the thing. I'm not like... I feel like people can figure out I'm not a very traditional person. Whatsoever. So my whole thought process, as I'm sitting there thinking about, like, oh, well, I changed the standards, I had a thought in my head, I was like, how come couples just don't make up their own name together? Like, you get married, and you just ditch both of your names.
And make a new one?
New traditions, you just make a new one. Because I would change mine to Powers in the heartbeat.
Marshall Powers?
Yeah, it sounds awesome, doesn't it?
It sounds pretty cool. Here's Will.
Hey, Will.
It's a drop-in. It's an invasion.
Dropping in. Will's dropping in.
What's up, everybody?
Everybody with how I got my marriage certificate yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
We have a Punch the Clock alumnus, emeritus, with us.
Happy to be here.
So anyway, I agreed to get the certified copies after thinking to myself, well, I don't know, ma'am. You tell me. I don't get married very often. This is my first time. My bad.
Marshall just had a genius idea, though.
What's that?
Why? Go ahead.
All right, so when you get married, traditionally the wife takes your name. Or sometimes you get a hyphenated name. Or both couples get a hyphenated name. I guess that's the modern way of doing it. When you get married to your partner, male, woman, whatever, how come you don't just, like, to be really modern, just ditch both your last names and create your own new one?
I had friends who did that, actually.
That sounds
Really?
awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
I would change mine to Powers.
Just in general.
Marshall Powers. Tell me that doesn't sound sick. I mean, what would you all change yours?
So if you, what I would do is like maybe change your middle name to Powers, and then like last name Outage. Marshall Powers.
Middle name is Max.
Max Power.
Okay, that's cool.
Max
That's pretty
Power.
cool.
What do you do when The Simpsons steals you from stealing that bit from
I mean,
1995?
I plan on being into oblivion. I'm happy with it.
I don't know if they could. I guess they probably couldn't copyright that unless you literally
I would hope
painted
not.
your skin yellow and then started just doing lines from the show and making money off of it. Maybe they can give you a cease and desist or something.
Hey, what's up? I'm the real Homer Simpson. I just shave my head.
There you go. Leave 2 strands.
Yeah, right.
I'm really surprised someone doesn't actually live stream on Twitch doing that, because that would be hilarious.
That's true.
Is that a bit from?
Cut this. We figured out our $1 million
yeah, we
idea,
figured
right?
out. Screw this podcast.
Homer Simpson Twitch stream impersonations.
Yeah, I mean, what would you all pick, though, if you had to repick your last name?
Gosh. I'd probably pick
Flowers.
Flowers.
Justin Flowers.
I don't know. So one last name that I always thought was awesome. One, I think some of the best last names exist in the sport of ice hockey.
Oh, for sure.
And I'd probably go with Bookaboom.
Oh, Jeff Boogaboom.
Yes, from the 1990 New York Rangers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is a good last name.
Isn't that a good one?
That's great.
Imagine I just changed my last name to Cthulhu. What's up? I'm Marshall Cthulhu. No, I'm not going to spell it for you.
Just Google it.
Or you could make your last name like of a name that's of like Gates or Netflix. That way you can maybe get mine to be an heir and make a claim on a...
I think it was Gates or Netflix. That's the...
Yeah, something like that.
I'm part of the Netflix family. Why would you listen to me?
That's right.
Sorry, I'm fucking have to ask you to leave.
I'm Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I'm really religious.
That's funny. My first thought was also like Jeter or something like that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So y'all know all the sports names. All right.
Some of the coolest names exist in sports. Well,
sure.
I mean, for the most part, anyway. I think there's some cool like stage names. I think that exist. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I only said Jeter because I couldn't pull off Rivera after Mariano Rivera. I don't know. They'd be like, really? I'm like, all right. Yeah.
So, what's your descent?
Yeah. They started asking questions. I started looking like, some sort of appropriation that I'm not supposed to do and all that. So, we don't want to play with that.
Yeah.
Changed my name to Skeep.
To a noise.
Marshall Skeep.
Change your last name to a sound bit.
There you go. I mean, Prince.
Can you spell that? Yes, it's SKEEEEEEEEE.
Let me play for you. How do you spell that? No. You don't understand. Let me play that for you.
I spell it out loud, and then no matter what, no matter how many E's I put down, I go, oh, that's one too many.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, I get the marriage certificate. It was a giant packet, and she goes through the rundown of sign this, sign this, sign this, sign this. You got to get this signed out. You got to get this filled, and this person mails it in. I'm like, cool. I'm glad my fiance's here listening to this because I don't remember a word she said. Walk out the door. I'm like, okay, cool. Got the marriage certificate, and that's the end of the story.
It's pretty easy. I mean, you just sign it. You got a witness sign it.
Send it back, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still don't understand why I had to have an appointment for an area that had zero lines whatsoever, or it looked like traffic in general.
Maybe that's because they had an appointment system, and that's why they're just so efficient that you went in by yourself because they were so good.
On top of it, they were waiting for you.
Yeah, they were like, line's clear, we're good.
Yeah.
So either no one visits or these women are extremely good at their jobs. I mean, she was professional and polite to me, so,
Mm-hmm. That's cool. But it was in the basement.
Yeah, it was in the basement. Okay, so I was telling him, I get the website says go to ground floor.
Uh-huh.
I'm on floor 1. I'm like, this is the ground.
Right.
The floor is. Right. No, turns out I have to go below the ground.
Right, the floor
to
that's
get to
in the ground versus on the ground.
Yeah.
And then realized the courthouse was being really freaking literal. Ground floor is in ground. So if you're ever at that courthouse, you need to go to ground floor. It's at the bottom floor, people.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well,
Was that Rich?
Nice.
Which courthouse was that? Was that like the main?
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield. Okay. Oh yeah. Right. Because I had to go to Richmond City, and that was also a maze. I don't really remember it, but I had to go through, and I needed to bring the officiant with me to get it signed. There was this whole mess of stuff. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you can't just get, for whatever reason, in Virginia, you can't just get married at a courthouse. We have decided that someone who's religious must marry you for some reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if you're not religious, which I feel like that probably should have been challenged a long time ago by some law about separation of church and state. But no, apparently we're all just like, yeah, whatever.
We accept it.
We just accept it. I'll just find someone online who is ordained and is registered with Virginia, which you can. It's not really that hard, but there are people that will meet you at the courthouse, marry you outside, and you can go back in.
And hand it back.
But yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like, this is really inconvenient. Why don't you all just have like a dedicated subsection for this?
Yeah. Just have like a magistrate, like just, marrying people, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
good question. I don't know.
And then they got to decide, like some counties can decide if they recognize your church or not as a church.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm like, that's a real gray area, right?
That is a church and state, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, who's to say I'm not part of the Order of the Jedi? Federal government recognizes it.
So who's your officiate? Last name Vader?
And force me with you.
You can go ahead and bring it up with him.
Pastor Vader.
Pastor Vader is a little bit touchy.
I'm not sure he knows how to sign his name.
I tried to get Pastor Yoda, but it was a little bit confusing when we got to the man and wife. I pronounced you, and then it was just weird. Vowels you may exchange. It's like, can you just put
everything as you're saying is backwards?
Like, I know you understand sentence context. Could you understand the words we're saying to you? Why you keep doing it backwards is beyond me. Y'all want to start the show 20 minutes into the episode?
Oh, wow, we're that far in.
Were you waiting for me? I hope not.
No, we were not.
Okay, good.
I was going through the marriage.
Just vamping. I love it.
Just vamping.
We're just going off the cut with nothing planned today. Just, you know. So, yeah, let's start it.
Okay.
Warning! You are about to start listening to Punch the Clock, a podcast hosted by three self-proclaimed cooperative professionals, Marshall, Justin, and Noelle, recorded entirely in their company's break room. Marshall claims to be the perfect man, but if that's his idea of perfection, I'd hate to see what imperfect is. Justin claims to be Will Arnett's best friend. However, a restraining order says otherwise. And Noelle believes she is a Disney princess. But we've never seen a crown. Finally, warning, please leave the show now before the podcast starts. In 3, 2, 1.
Are you not?
Oh, yeah. So
Warning. Oh, sorry.
welcome to Punch the Clock. I am your host, Justin.
And I'm your co-host, Marshall.
And we are joined by our impromptu guest, Will.
Just a little drop in.
Alumnus emeritus.
I love it. Hey, everybody.
And we're the only podcast that respects the institution of marriage. All the other ones out there, they don't.
That's right. So whatever you're listening to before and after this, now you know.
Now you know. Come to us for marriage advice.
As you're driving in the car listening to Joe Rogan, just remember he doesn't respect marriage.
That's right.
I don't know why I went for Joe Rogan.
His fans seem pretty cool. I'm sure you're not going to get into any trouble for
yeah, he's not radical whatsoever.
They seem like pretty low-key folk.
Low-key.
What's up, dude?
I'm sure it'll be fun.
Oh, man. So I think...
if I laugh synced up there, that was weird.
It was less the laugh that made it weird. It was the fact that everybody kind of did that breathe out, like, ha, ha, ha. I think at the same time.
I catch your breath thing. So when you laugh, you just suck in air for some reason.
So I think earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken, Will possibly found the cure to COVID. Remember do you want to tell the story about the tea string?
I unfortunately made myself a cup of tea and put a lovely fresh tea bag in there, drank the entire thing, and realized there was a dirty tea bag at the bottom. But I did feel much better afterwards, so it cleared up my sinuses. I did go blind for a couple minutes, but besides that, I mean, if you can get past that piece, yeah, you might be right.
Do you know approximately how long that other tea bag was sitting there?
It was definitely overnight, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't for a long time.
Like 24 hours, maybe?
Yeah, probably. So
Nice.
Yeah, that might be the magic, but too long, you might end up losing a finger. Too short, you won't cure COVID, but somewhere in there is just right.
A sweet spot.
Good old sweet spot.
The only podcast that advertises a definite cure for COVID.
Unlike that My Pillow guy who tried to shill us oleander.
Oh my gosh.
What was it?
Oleander.
What's that?
It is a plant that has been known since the Greek times to be extremely poisonous.
Oh my gosh.
And he was saying, take this pill that's an oleander extract. And I'm like, okay, so we're just straight up murdering people.
That guy seems a little bit unhinged.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have, like, on my 2020 Apocalypse bingo card, I didn't have the My Pillow guy trying to sell me poison on there. I didn't think a guy who sold pillows would go crazy.
Which multinational CEO did you have on there trying to sell you poison?
Oh, 100%. If there was any CEO that I think would absolutely sell me poison, it's Mark Cuban.
Oh.
You think so?
Oh, 100%. I don't even think he'd be trying to.
Yeah, but it'd be cheap. That's his whole deal now. It's like cheap. It's like they put like 10 or 15% on all of their drugs or whatever. And that's
something about that guy.
The new pharmacy or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he's got a new pharmacy.
Does he really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's trying to make healthcare cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
A little bit messed up that we have to rely on a billionaire being charitable, but
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't know that.
They're doing like very small markup.
I retract. I retract Mark Cuban.
Yeah, go, Mark, go.
Make healthcare cheap. Don't.
Honestly, if you have to poison Marshall to make healthcare cheap, we're just.
I'm all for it. I'm a willing sacrifice. I don't know how poison I have to be.
Well, he'll be able to sell you the cure.
That's what I mean. That's how they get you. Oh, you're sick?
That's how they get you. That's great. That's how they get you.
I'm glad that one landed while that wasn't planned. I was actually going to say something to that effect, like about finding the cure. That's how they can sell you the cure.
That's right.
Oh man.
Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, opioid. There's an epidemic. Here's how you get off of it. Mark Cuban just straight up poisoning people. It's like, hey, now you got to come to me for the cure.
And guess what? It's cheap.
That's great.
It's affordable though. I mean, how mad would you be if Mark Cuban poisoned you, but he's like, hey, it's affordable. It's $5. I mean, like, well, I'm a little upset you poisoned me, but okay.
Look at what else we got on this website, though. You're like, okay, fine. That's how they get. That's the best.
Well, how poisoned would Mark Cuban have to poison me is the real question. Like, if he gives me a piece of bread, I can do it myself.
Yeah. Little moldy bread or just bread in general.
Just bread in general.
Just gluten.
My one kryptonite is bread for some reason. As I've gotten older, my body's like, you don't want that.
Worst version of Superman ever, right?
Pretty much.
Give him some bread, quick. It's like,
it's a bird. It's a plate. Dude, Marshall's on the ground. What are you talking about? I'm right here, guys.
He's doubled over.
I'm neither one of those things unless you're mistaking me for an ostrich.
Kryptonite very rare, bread very abundant. That would be a multiverse Superman who has a bread or a strawberry allergy or something like that. That'd be tough.
Well, only one vulnerability is sandwich shops, and grocery stores. As long as the fight doesn't take
donut shops, bakeries,
bakeries,
cookie shops.
That's true.
Oh,
lots of places.
We all think we'd be the most useless superpower.
Most useless superpower.
Doesn't even have to be mainstream. I feel like flying is something people want until they get up in the air and realize how high they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd still be down.
Imagine you can fly, but only if you hold your breath.
Ooh.
How high do you think you could get?
Essentially, that's just jumping, right? You just jump, hold your breath, land, catch your breath a second, jump again. I mean, you'd still make good time places. It just wouldn't be like.
I feel like you'd be hyperventilating. You'd be like,
that's true.
Fly, and the trick is to let out and get another breath in before you hit the ground, so you can keep going up.
I think.
Okay, I see what you. Yeah, right.
I think superpower that would be useless.
You look like that Flappy Bird game.
Yeah, right.
Is being able to understand animal communication.
Agreed, 100%.
You can't communicate back to the animals. You just understand what they're talking about.
Yeah. You just hear them. You just hear them.
I'm going to posit, even if you could talk to the animals and communicate with them, it would still be a useless power, because what is an animal really going to tell you?
What was that movie?
Dr. Dolittle or one of those?
Was that it? Yes. Yeah, it was Dr. Dolittle. Right. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
We're smart for some reason. I'm like, but animals are dumb.
But you can get them to possibly, I don't know.
Yes.
Like, get a monkey to sneak into a bank or something.
I don't know.
I mean, that's not using it for great purposes. But if they couldn't even understand you back, you could just be like, two dogs barking at each other. Hey.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This is the worst superpower of all time.
That's
I like that.
It would be like so annoying.
That would be horrible.
And you can't unhear it. How bad?
It's just complete understandable
just
English
noise.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, man,
every bird chirp. Oh, that'd be a nightmare.
You find out one animal actually is a super villain. It's the squirrels. Squirrels know everything.
Right. They're much more advanced. They're plotting and stuff.
They're 3 springs away from taking over or something
you
crazy.
You look over and there are 3 squirrels in the tree, and it's like, we've installed our new plant in Russia. It's taking over the country. Our coup in Bolivia will go in advance in 3 months. Wait a minute, why is that kid looking at us?
Be cool. It's not like you can understand us, guys. What? Did we just write a treatment for a movie? I think this is we can get Netflix.
I think that's actually a Rick and Morty skit.
Oh, is it really?
Right. Well, Justin was going to change his name to Justin Netflix, so we might be able to.
There we go. You got to get in line.
I already have this idea, and I'm a Netflix, so I should be able to get this. Yeah, I should be able to get this put on TV.
Terrible superpower. You can project Netflix anywhere.
It's a great superpower. What are you talking about?
Have you seen their catalog?
Well, yeah, it's tough.
It's
like during Stranger Things season? Come on, man.
Yeah, I guess you have to watch for it.
I've been on a 30 Rock kick.
It depends on how you feel about Bridgerton.
If it's only based on, though, like, what you might like, then, yeah, that would be an awful superpower.
That's
because
true, yeah.
I don't always like what they say. I think I'm going to like it.
Yeah, right. Their algorithm is...
Yeah, it's like, no, I don't want to freaking watch that.
I feel you.
Yeah.
We put on...
I really hate that they got rid of the rating system for the percentage that you'll like it.
Right.
It's really annoying. It's I
agree.
just want to know that people hate this thing.
They know that it's only going to end up capping at like 72%. They're like, we're not showing anybody this anymore. We're done with this.
They did that because they like paid a lot of money to some comedian. And as soon as it came out, it was like he or she really, everybody hated the special, so they switched it almost immediately to the
Oh, really?
how much you would like it system. So
Interesting.
kind of hype because they dumped a lot of money in this comedian.
Yeah.
This was like years ago, right before it came out. And I forget who it was. It was like a big name at the time, but it was like not everybody really liked that person. I forget who it was. I want to say it was Amy Schumer for some reason.
They, I feel like they're starting to find since they have not developed enough good original content. They were, the backbone was the offices and the stuff that they were buying from other people or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's going to start being like Netflix. You're home for stand-up comedy, reality TV, like stuff they can produce very, very cheaply. All things considered, I think it's going to be the.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure.
Streaming services now, and the reason I went to the streaming services in the first place was like as a kid I would just stream it off of an illegal website for free. But hey, Netflix and Hulu had everything, but now that everybody has their own streaming service for their network television like channel, it's like, well, I'm starting to feel like I should just go back to being a pirate again.
Yeah, I think you nailed that on the head, Will. Like, I think like Prime Video as a comparison, man, they produce some good like shows and movies, right?
100%.
But yeah, Netflix is like just marginal, like at best,
Right. Yeah. Anytime they do anything good, they immediately cancel it after like one season.
Yeah. I'm really hoping they bring Lincoln Lawyer out for a second season, because that show, I know I've been talking about it nonstop for the past friggin' 5 weeks every time I get a chance, but man, that series was so good.
For Lincoln Lawyer, I love it.
If they come out with a season 2 or even more, that'd be awesome.
Well, I'd like to shout out Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, nice. Disney Plus?
Yeah, pretty good.
It's good. I like it.
Cool.
So far. I think there's only 2 more episodes left.
Yeah. I think Miss Marvel's good, pretty good too.
Darth Vader's
Let's see where that's going.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's in it.
I haven't watched it.
What else do you need?
Princess Leia. She's supposed to be 10, but I'm pretty sure she's played by a 6-year-old. She's a very small 10 or 8-year-old.
Right.
Is this Star Wars you're talking about?
Yeah, this would be one of those Star Wars.
Gotcha.
The Reagan area, missile defense system, or are we talking about the George Lucas?
As everybody knows, I'm a huge fan of Ronald Reagan and his missile defense systems.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Make America Vogue again. Man,
that was I haven't started Lincoln Lawyer, but it did come up. It's my recommendations are always so ridiculous now because it's me watching Stranger Things or like some movie where like people's heads are getting cut off, and then my son watching Octonauts or something very. So it's like you might either like Coco Melon, which is a show about a baby that sings,
or Baby Shark,
yeah, or like Bloodsport.
That's right. I will say so. Going back to the superpower of like being able to like stream Netflix anywhere. Like imagine
superpower thing.
Yeah, so imagine like how like to the point of like how awful that would be if you were in like an inappropriate setting and like all of a sudden you turned it on and like Ozark started playing, like, that would not be good.
The real uselessness is that you can only stream it like out of your nose or something like that, so you can't quite see it because you're looking over the bridge. You have to lie down; everybody else can watch it.
Yeah, you got to do something funny like hold one nostril.
And it's blurry. You got a sinus infection, so everything's blurry or something like that.
You have the power to stream Netflix whenever you want onto a wall, but only when your eyes are closed.
There you go. Nobody else could watch. I mean, maybe can you do it while you're asleep? No, that would make it somehow useful.
That would just drive you insane. The magic just comes on no matter what. You blink, it turns on.
But that would be some cool like AI or maybe VR, like if you closed your eyes, but then it put you in it.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be a cool superpower.
Yeah, I like that superpower.
Yeah. But
sounds like interdimensional travel.
Yeah, definitely.
Every time you close your eyes, Netflix.
So I guess that's kind of like dreaming.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of have that, but we have less control over it.
True.
You could try to teach yourself a lucid dream, but
you can't skip ads in your dreams.
Nah, you can't skip the ads. I hate that.
Or skip the intros.
We really should not have given AT&T the power to just beam ads into our head directly.
That would be a useless
Thanks a lot, Mitch
superpower.
McConnell.
I guess it's not a power though. Like unable to skip ads in general whenever you watch any sort of content.
Ooh,
that's really not a power at all.
I mean,
quite the opposite. That's just a penalty. It's just punishment for eternity.
Yeah, it was just a punishment. I feel like you'd have to have you got super strength, but you can never skip an ad.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Like, do I even want this?
Yeah, that's like one thing that adds your kryptonite.
Yeah.
Where it's like anytime an ad comes up, you cripple for 15 seconds until someone else can hit skip.
I'm
dying. Skip.
Video only, or does it count for posters and billboards?
Guy goes to Times Square. It's curtains.
That's right. That's
right there.
So how come you're not a superhero in New York? I just
not my scene.
Right. A lot of crime in Des Moines.
That's right. You can only be a superhero in the Dakotas or something like that.
Right.
Des Moines.
Park ranger superhero.
Add Des Moines to the things we don't respect.
Oh, hey.
Oh, wow.
It's been a while since we've done that.
Don't respect.
Des Moines.
My wife is from
Des Moines?
the Quad Cities of Iowa, so
Okay.
not Des Moines though. So
Okay, well, that's fine.
depends on if that extends to the entire state of Iowa or not.
How's the American Midwest?
It seems fine. I haven't been there in a while. I don't know. I've been to Iowa one time and not with her. They have family in Wisconsin now. Been up there.
Oh, nice.
I went to Louisville one time.
There you go.
That was okay, but they make everything bourbon flavored.
Oh no, no. I'm just no, that's there's a lot.
They have bourbon flavored soda. They put the bourbon on any food you order at a restaurant.
Really?
It's like, here's a bourbon burger. It's like, thanks, I didn't want bourbon in my burger. I was literally in a little truck stop, and they had bourbon flavored candy for the kids, and I'm like, why is everything need to be bourbon, and why are you giving your kids bourbon flavored candy?
Yeah, seriously.
Indoctrinated, so by the time they can buy it, they like it.
I've never seen so much bourbon in 3 days, and never in my life have I been more sick of bourbon and not wanting to partake in any of it. It's like, can you please stop putting the bourbon in things? I go to a bar and I order a beer. Guess what? All the beers here are aged in bourbon. I'm like, okay, this was fun for the first day, but now it's starting to get old.
Next time you got to go to Traverse City, Michigan, which is the
Traverse City,
cherry capital of the United States.
Oh,
they do the exact same thing, but it's all amazing because it's all cherry
All
flavor.
cherry.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was a lot better than
Traverse City. Things we do respect. Traverse City.
Surprising. We didn't see that one come.
upstate Michigan. It's a very nice area out there. So
Oh, okay.
I will say that.
I'll put that on my list.
There you go.
Not for my honeymoon, but
Cherry
somewhere
Capital.
else.
Cherry cap.
Nice. Maraschino or pitted or...
It's a good question. I think they have all kinds,
Probably
all
all,
sorts.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And cherry candy, but cherry stuff dipped in cherry. Beef jerky dipped in cherry flavor. You're like, that tastes terrible. And then you eat it. You're like, this is.
Is it good? Yeah.
Oh gosh,
Is it
it's
real
all
cherries?
sorts.
Does it be cherry? Okay,
Yeah.
you said it was good.
Or cherry.
So why-
like apple sausage with cherries and stuff.
That's probably pretty good, yeah.
It is
Yeah,
very good.
So why is it that cherries are delicious, but anything we make with artificial cherry tastes awful?
It's a good question.
Or
Like
artificial
like children's medicine and things
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
it's like we cherry flavored it. It's like, can you not? Can I just have it medicine flavored?
Drink it
please?
straight.
It's a little bitter, but it's probably better than cherry.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
I would rather have the fake grape flavor.
Yeah. Well,
We got a little close.
so this is off topic, but
Okay.
can I gripe about something quick?
Absolutely.
So yesterday I went to go buy a birthday balloon,
Well, there's your first mistake.
and I said, "May I have one latex balloon?" And the lady goes, "I'm sorry. There's a worldwide shortage on helium right now, and we don't have any."
Really?
I was like, she's like, "Unfortunately, I'm not kidding." And I'm like, how is that even possible?
That's crazy. Yeah.
To have a worldwide shortage on helium, like there's the sun.
That's
like,
work, Justin.
and then she tried to I think she felt bad. She was trying to give me an explanation. She's like, yeah, I think it's got something to do with Ukraine and mining. And I'm like,
well, no,
okay.
actually, the real explanation is because the United States has the largest reserve of helium. But due to a 1995 law passed by Congress, we've actually been selling off helium way below the market price to the world. I'm not sure why we're doing that, because it is a finite resource.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Don't ask me why I know that. I just know that. It's a really weird helium-based fact.
Till fusion technology comes.
That was well articulated.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'm convinced.
Yeah, no.
Is that legit? Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit. We've been selling off our helium reserves for like 1/1000th of what it's actually worth.
Really?
Due to a law in 1995 passed for some reason.
Interesting.
And I cannot tell you why we would do that, because it is actually a finite resource.
Make America filled with balloons again.
Yeah, I guess some senator was like, man, I hate balloons. Let's get rid of them.
So I had to give my daughter a sad, blown up balloon yesterday that actually she still enjoyed because she didn't have to she could kick it around and throw it around and
That's true. Yeah.
So it worked out pretty good actually.
I'm sure this won't be a sad moment for her.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Won't scar her in therapy years for down the road.
I literally walked to my house with that news yesterday, and I got all this feedback and kickback about, what? That can't be true. That can't be right. I'm like, look. I'm telling you, so the lady told me. She sold me a balloon for 50
you think
cents.
The lady would lie to me?
Right. You think I would? I bought a balloon, but not the balloon that we wanted. I was like, you know what?
I'm sure she would have sold me helium if she had it.
Right.
That story, though, the thing that we glossed over, and I'm just cashing out. You described it as asking for a latex balloon.
Uh-huh.
Why did you just specify latex specifically, not just a balloon?
Here's why. Because they also had Mylar.
Ooh.
Okay.
The man knows what he wants.
I just wanted one singular balloon.
Can I get a balloon? Why are you buying one singular?
The only thing that I find suspect about that is that apparently when she answered you, she went, I'm sorry, there's a worldwide helium shortage and I can't get you anywhere.
It's like, okay, now I understand why there's a shortage. You've been sucking on the helium.
There your eyes and squint. Way.
Something feels off here.
You know people have died from doing that, though?
Nope, I did not know that.
Really?
From sucking helium? Yeah, it can actually kill you.
Too much, huh?
Yeah, it can asphyxiate you somehow. You just can't get out of your lungs, and then you die from helium.
Wow, like suffocating almost?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, Future Marshall here. At this point in the show, I tell a joke that is so dark that I and everybody else does not feel comfortable airing it on the show. It was hilarious, but dark. Anyway, back to the show.
No, that's good stuff. Anyway, I didn't mean to derail that. I just thought that was a notable mention.
I didn't know there was a shortage. I knew that, and I'd forget. I think I'd heard that thing about the selling it under, but you kind of. I know they need you need helium for MRI machines and stuff. I mean, it's
really?
Legit. Yeah, they have it because of some way.
A lot of uses.
Interesting, yeah.
So
that noble gas. And we put it in balloons. They make balloon float.
Let them all go.
Hey, this has got a lot of uses in the medical field and industrial practice. It make balloon float. So cheap.
Make kid happy.
We could do paper lanterns with candle. No, that's fire.
Yeah, right. Aren't you listening to what I'm asking for?
Make balloon float cheaply. We could use hydrogen. No.
Helium.
That's a Hindenburg scenario, wouldn't it? We can use hydrogen. The humanity, right?
We can Hindenburg this thing.
We're not using hydrogen for anything anytime soon.
I feel really bummed out that the Hindenburg happened. Not because it was a tragedy, but imagine if we had giant floating air cruises that you could take for a vacation. Because that would be awesome.
As opposed to airplanes or trains.
Yeah.
Get where you want to go much slower.
You don't understand, Will. I want cruise ship.
So what would be the okay? So here's a question. Okay.
Luxury cruise ship in sky.
Okay. Luxury cruise ship versus luxury floating ship. Which would be the worst to be caught in a storm?
Ooh.
Water ship.
Water ship?
You know why?
Why is that?
Because flying ship can go above the storm.
Can it?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Fair enough.
I like the logic there. I have no desire to go on. This is where old Scott needs to be here. Scott from I almost said his last name. I know you guys don't do this here.
Yeah,
Scott from purchasing is a cruise guy.
He's been on before.
He's been.
Yeah.
He would. No, I know. I'm just saying he would be able to answer this question.
The only last name mentioned on this show is mine a lot. Because I'm not a coward. It's come for me.
It's Powers, so it's fine. Yeah.
See, flying cruise ship. See, like, if I'm on a normal cruise ship in a storm, I sink to ocean, I die slowly, get eaten by fish.
I don't know if that's ever happened. Have you ever heard of a cruise ship, like, sinking? Besides
Probably.
Poseidon Adventure? I mean, that's,
That one in Italy that ended up on the side.
No, that didn't even sink.
Yeah.
I think
It's not halfway. I mean, it's underwater.
Everyone got off safely, though.
Use it.
Right? I think everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that would only came on inside because they went too far up on
Too far in. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that does make my next point. I was going to say, I'd rather not drown. I'd rather just fall to the sky and be dead then.
And then, like, instead of life vests, you get parachutes and.
Right.
You're telling me, if I had a giant Zeppelin that was filled with hotel rooms and stuff, and then I put stuff like a normal cruise ship, like a casino on a flying Zeppelin, you wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm kind of down to go play in that casino on that flying Zeppelin as I go through the Bahamas, island to island over the water.
That is what I'm telling you, yes. I have zero. That is a me and a cruise bias. I don't know if that's necessarily like the average.
I think
that just sounds horrible.
Would the sun be a lot hotter up there?
Ooh. Or like harder to keep out though,
Right, yeah.
Because if you need all those shades and everything, or if you're above clouds, what's the point? Because then you're just not looking at the ocean.
You can fly over a cloud for a little bit of time. You're looking at the earth.
Unless you're just looking
meant
at
to be.
Yeah.
Seeing all around you, you're encapsulated inside this ship. I guess there's a deck on top of the balloon. I haven't really planned this out.
No.
Believe it or not, guys.
This is a good idea. It's like, we can call it a curvature cruise.
Oh.
It's where you view the curvature of the earth. Like people go take cruises to view the glaciers and different things like that. Mm-hmm. It would be a curvature cruise.
You'd still have people denying that the earth is round.
That's right. Yeah.
we would have a lot of flat earth. Yeah. Like, well, just because it's curved doesn't mean it's not flat. Be like, okay, bud.
Did you listen to what you just said?
I don't know. I saw a post one time from one of those groups, and it's like, we have millions of supporters around the globe. And I was like, would you like to reread your
It's a classic. That's a classic.
That's awesome.
There's so many people out there trolling that I have to imagine that was either somebody really, really messing up or somebody really, really making, like, this is the perfect joke.
That's right.
Let me tweet this out, because this is truly the perfect joke.
Irony in 6 words, right?
100%.
Even the guy who, like, popularized it said, yeah, it was never meant to be taken seriously. So, I mean, kudos to him for creating to troll that hard.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Kyrie Irving's like, no, you don't understand. I don't know if I think he's trolling too, though. The basketball player who kind of does all that.
Probably.
How does he participate? Yeah.
He just has said, like, we got to ask these questions, and it's like, as far as the curvature of the earth goes, we don't have to ask that question.
it out, bud.
I'm not saying there's not conspiracy or stuff you want to be kind of adding thought to. This isn't one of them. We don't need to ask that question specifically.
Yeah, sometimes conspiracies come out true, guys, but this one, no. This one we can prove with science.
Yeah.
Your MK Ultras, it turned out to be true. Your flat earth theory, probably not.
Not so much.
If it's a fundamental misunderstanding of the world in general, generally you're probably wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's the government's doing this, there might be.
Yeah, right. We solved it during ancient Egyptian times. We're probably good.
We're good, yeah.
Then we forgot about it and solved it again.
Yeah.
And in about 10 years, we'll forget about it.
Solve it again.
Right.
Seems like we forget about it every single time something bad happens.
It literally goes round and round.
Oh my gosh, that's one of those. Sure.
Anyway, back to my airship cruise.
Okay.
Imagine instead of water skiing, I just hook you up on a rope. And then I attach a hang glider to you and I just hang you off the back.
But you're on a rope on a hang glider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, the rope gets cut. You got a hang glider. Good luck.
Yeah, but are these people like professional hang gliders? I mean,
I don't know. That's not my problem.
Like you could say worst case scenario, the pilot dies on a plane, but you could just land the plane. It's like I don't know if that's like worst case scenario.
Parachute.
Okay.
I put a parachute, like they do for parasailing, and I hang you off the back. Worst case scenario, you got a parachute now.
You know what this is starting to sound like? Willy Wonka.
All I'm saying is, no one will allow me to become a billionaire because
I'm gonna do some weird stuff.
If I ever become a billionaire, I'm bringing back the eccentric billionaire. I'm doing some crazy things.
With the last name Powers, you're about to come into a multi-billion-dollar fortune.
Just change my name to Powers. It's like, why did Marshall Judson change it to Marshall Powers? Because I could. Take over a small country.
That would be some crazy. That would be something crazy where like talking about the courthouse before. So like, imagine if you had this much time on your hands, where like you can go to the courts and see what wills are being probated, and then petition to change your name to whichever one you like best, and then you can make a claim on that.
I'm cartoonishly villainous. One old lady at a time, I make my fortune.
That would be awesome.
I'm just trying to think of anything else stupid I would just do with billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm buying a house and putting it in the volcano as a lair.
That's a layer.
That'd be cool.
You're not building out.
I just dump it in there.
So you're not building out the volcano to spec. You're just going to be like, you know what? This is a nice little craftsman that I can airlift into the volcano.
That's right.
Buy a modular home. Big guy with a helicopter and then just drop it in Hawaii.
But then, what do you do at what do you do after that? You go to lunch or like how do you?
It's a hike from the lair to getting the food.
I just wait for the news to come up and people yell at me for the environmental effects. I'll be like, why is it a volcano?
That's right. It just burned up.
Yeah, it's good now. Dropping stuff into a volcano. That's eccentric billionaire stuff for sure.
I hire an old man to be my butler, and then I rename him Jenkins.
Fair.
I have Jenkins fall around, do weird things with me.
With a towel around his arm.
Just
full suited.
Just an old man with Alzheimer's.
Gosh, that sounds villainess. You know,
that's right. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, maybe not the all time.
If that's the case, he wouldn't be following you around.
Instead of a butler's outfit, I want him to be wearing gold chains and the backwards hat.
Okay. I don't know.
Jenkins, fetch the car. He brings up like a Fiaro. I found a Fiaro.
Hey man, you didn't make that money by writing checks. You know?
That's right.
He brings around the pimped out Ford Pinto.
Pulling up to the billionaires club. They're like Lambo, Ferrari, Pinto. It's like, what's wrong with that guy? It's like, hey man, good gas mileage, no car note. I'm straight.
I just show up in the hovercraft.
Live humbly.
Yeah.
Live humble. I fly away on my hovercraft.
That's right.
Down the road, like a normal hovercraft that we have today.
Yeah.
Just piloting it down the road. I live in a lower middle class suburban neighborhood too.
Blend in.
Got to gentrify somewhere if you're a billionaire, right?
I pay for all these people, and then they're just my talent to mess around with. I don't do anything vicious that hurt them. I just mess around on their property. Come a check every time I do something.
World's biggest disc golf course. They're like, yeah, I mean, this guy paid me all this money for this little part of my backyard,
like
twice a year.
I mean, he paid it off. I mean, at this point, I'm just working for the fun of it. Every time he destroys something on my land, he cuts me a check for another $1 million. So what do I care?
Let him tear it up.
I'm now putting up little wooden towers that he can try and knock over. Trying to.
You see billionaire Marshall, I'm just knocking down mailboxes. Everybody's like, every time he does this, once a week, we get in there millions. Just let him do it.
He hasn't noticed that I've put up 4 mailboxes on my property. It's every single one.
He egged my house with ostrich eggs. I mean, I'm a little upset, but he also did clean and pay for another wing on my house. So.
They're like, I'm even pre-cutting the mailbox stand.
Yeah.
Just so it's a little bit easier for
Putting
him.
a bunch of scrap paper in there so it really explodes. Like, oh man, I'm gonna hit this mailbox every single time. It's like, yes, cut that check, Marshall.
Kid, he's like 6 years old. As his dad's repaired the mailbox, he's like, Dad, why do we have to keep repairing the mailbox? Why does Mr. Marshall keep smashing it? He's like, son, go to your room.
You want to go to college, don't you?
We just ask him to stop now if we want to keep the money.
And that will single-handedly revive the postal industry.
I just buy a small town. And I just mess around the small town all the time.
Imagine the increase in demand for mailboxes after that.
It's a whole cottage industry.
That's right.
So one of these neighborhoods, and I just build a castle with a moat around it.
I see no
You are
problems
all my serfs. Your stipend is $1 million a year.
That would
See
be
no problem
awesome.
with this. I'd be moving in tomorrow.
Oh, that fun.
That would be good.
Look, here's the moral of the story. If you give me a couple $1 billion to any billionaire who's listening to this, I will do some wacky things.
But you will continue to support the middle.
I will. I'm going to support small town America. And really, isn't that what this whole podcast is all about?
That's right.
We finally figured out the point.
Yeah, that's right. 1 year later.
And that's going to do it for today.
Nice. Wow. Well
way to-
done. Well done.
Well played.
I've been your host, Marshall.
And I'm Justin.
We already shouted out a bunch of things.
Shout out Noelle.
Shout out to Noelle.
Shout out.
She was
One
not
day
here
she'll-
for this insane episode.
One day she'll come back to work.
One day.
She's been here all week.
She won the lottery,
She just
so
happened to
she's
miss
not coming back.
Yeah, that's right.
She's out smashing mailboxes.
Will, thank you so much for sliding.
Thanks,
Pleasure
Will.
as
Yeah,
always,
that was a
guys.
last minute. Thank you. Thank you for that.
So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. And I've been Marshall.
And I'm Justin.
And toodles.
Toodles.